in that situation. LGD grabbing a third pick Rubik. And, I mean, for LGD, Phoenix is definitely a thing. Getting MY's Rubik is definitely a thing as well. But instead of just comfort here, LGD, Rubik deals pretty decent special line. Is always nice, but generally, if you're just looking for a stun, there are better heroes find it from. Doctor, of course, being the probably most popular nowadays when combined with the Life Stealers. So kind of interesting to see them pick a Rubik so highly.
Well, I guess you also need to remember that Rubik has null field, a passive that a lot of people to they don't really forget about it, but people just don't think of Rubik as that passive magic resistance aura. So that's an added bonus because you look what FTD has so far. They've got so much magical damage output that this, at level 4, 22% magic resistance can play a significant and crucial part in LGD when it comes to absorbing a lot of this damage. And obviously, like, you're talking about the stuns, and spells are obviously a big factor as well, but I feel like the reason they also picked up Rubik is because there's null fields, just because FTD, they're showing a lot of spell burst for the moment.
Keeping your Life Stealer alive with Rage and Magic Resistance, and keeping a DK alive with Magic Resistance is definitely high game as well. I mean, DK already has the armor, so, you know, check that one. He doesn't really have a ton of health, but he get Armlet and pretty much solve that problem, and now he can get a little bit of Magic Resistance, so yeah, good luck killing off the Dragon Knight. Still, it's not like gonna mean that he's not gonna get a BKB. You're probably still gonna go for that one in 9 games out of 10 if you're a Dragon Knight, but this LGD squad is packing a lot of sustain. Of course, we already mentioned the Phoenix, but the natural survivability of the Dragon Knight, the support from the Rubik, just with 1 point in null field, they're going to be pretty difficult to bring down. And looking at FTD's heroes, they're not exactly super high damage. Darkseer's damage comes fairly slowly in the form of ion shells, and Doom's damage isn't the fastest either. Generally is fairly over time as well, with the Scorched Earth and Infernal Blade doing the vast majority of the work there. So LGD, especially this Phoenix, the Sunray, will have a lot of time to kind of counterbalance this damage over time, at least in this early mid-game phase. And Ember Spirit, much like the Darkseer and Doom, rather damage over time oriented. Not a lot of burst from the FTD side, except for that Finger of Death. But the upside of Ember Spirit is that the lane looks like it's going to be versus Dragon Knight, in which case Ember Spirit perfectly happy about that. The lane is fine for him. And later on, he'll get Ion Shell. So Ion Shell with Flame Guard, that'll tear you up, regardless of no field points.
I'm a little bit concerned for this Ember Spirit though, because in most cases when you're going up against lineups that don't have too many disables, then Ember Spirit is going to feel more or less comfortable. But for LGD, these disables are almost instant. Rubik is instant, whereas the DK, would you say it's like almost instant? It's like, I don't know, it's like 0.1 cast time or something.
I think 0.1 seconds actually sounds correct, but I have no idea. It's pretty much instant.
Yeah. You got 2 disables that, if they are close enough within Ember Spirit's range, they can absolutely lock them down for an eternity and they can kill them off. So this is not the perfect Ember Spirit game, but at least they've got something that's going to at least scale as the game progresses, and is also going to be good for high ground defense, because if you consider what FTD has, you can tell LGD wants to push right off the bat. They want to finish the game pre-30 to 40 minutes. The high ground defense is where FTD is going to thrive, as long as they are going to still remain at a point where they're not insanely far behind, completely underleveled and completely underfarmed. They can fall back to high ground. They just need to make sure that they're not in a position where, for example, like their highest level hero is level 8, and then you got FGD with a level 14 DK or something absurd like that.
Oh, actually, it is instant. Like, actually, 0 seconds. Yeah.
Oh,
unless the Dota wiki is lying to me. There's a backswing, so like you cast it and then you're like, guys, occupied for a bit, but you cast it first. So, yeah, I mean, it's as good as it gets when you're trying to deal with an Ember Spirit, one of these super elusive heroes. So yeah, LGD crowd control wise, mostly are going to be okay, and well, the crowd control is going to be good versus Ember Spirit. Going to be great versus the Weaver as well, but LGD, not to be outdone, are going to grab a bug for themselves. This is the secondary option for the Lifestealer to jump into. So you could jump into the Phoenix maybe early on, since they're going to be in lane with one another. Nyx Assassin allows you to be very patient with those ganks, just spotting out everything first with the Vendetta. Then once you figure the coast is clear, you'll be able to jump in as well and Dragonite will occasionally get Shadow Blades and or Blink Daggers, so Leicester has his pick of the litter for right now, but Nick Assassin looks like this is actually going to be a pretty decent game for him. Not the best time versus a Weaver, not the best versus Ember Spirit, although Impale, it's okay. It's really versus the Darkseer where he's going to have that value.
I would even say to a certain degree Ember Spirit as well. The Ember Spirit has Flame Guard activated. He can definitely get
That's true.
with the Spike Carapace.
Guaranteed stun, not too bad. We'll see how much Xiao is able to actually grab in that off lane, because Nyx Assassin off lanes tend to be rather fragile depending on the amount of damage coming from the other side. Weaver can put the harassment in quite effectively, however, so regardless of the fact that Nyx Assassin has more regeneration, natural regeneration, than some other heroes, and the fact that he has Tao Chill and 8 Tangos, still going to be taking a lot of free poke. Between the Weaver, of course, and the Lion, going to be doing a very similar thing, but LGD, aside from that, looks like their lanes are going to be pretty much business as usual. Actually, both sides' lanes. Looks like it's pretty much going to be the lanes you would expect.
Not really. If you're FTD, I don't think you're pulling anything weird out after being 2-0 by LGD right off the bat. At this point, they're just going to try and at least play their best so that they're able to... If anything, if you're FTDC, you would want to take at least one game off of LGD today. If you're a team like them, you'd be like, okay, we've been losing a lot. We are not on the same level as them for obvious reasons, but if we can take one game off, then at least there's going to be progress that they've somehow adapted to LGD. For now, just going to be Rune. Oh, the Phoenix tried to go for a cute dive. Didn't get it though. Bit early.
I still have never seen a Phoenix succeed in that. Like,
you haven't?
No, I just I haven't. Just coincidentally, it just hasn't happened in my games. I've seen it like watching other people, but while I'm casting, it hasn't happened to me. Still waiting for that day, but today it's not going to be happening, at least not with that first rune. September will still block out this camp, so this Doom just waiting for that 30-second mark and is going to really realize, oh shit, there's nothing here. Gotta deward that, or just gotta look somewhere else. He is thinking about perhaps joining the Darkseer for a little bit, but it does look like we're going to have this kind of 4-position roaming Doom. As far as occupying the top lane is concerned, there are viable kill targets here. Maybe not if you get a Wild Wing Whipper. You probably need something better than that, but Rubik is killable for sure. Mid lane killable as well. He's going to get lifted up first, but we can see that Doom, regardless of being kind of soft as a hero armor-wise, not really much to fear from a level 1 Rubik, level 1 Phoenix, but this Doom has the power to be very menacing towards the safe lane and mid lane of LGD, and Xiao in the meantime also in a lot of trouble. He's gone for Mana Burn level 1. Bill's not going to die right now. He's going to start chewing through those tangos, but Mana Burn level 1 is usually not going to do a ton for you. Like, even the skill, being level 1 in the late game, like, it's only really good versus OD. So, yeah, him getting this instead of a safety spell like Carapace or Impale is kind of odd.
It is interesting. In what case would you ever consider going for Mana Burn level 1? Would it just be like, if it was a mid lane and you were going to get guaranteed levels quick? That seems to be the only case.
Yeah, like the utility from a level 1 Mana Burn isn't really that great against like the majority of heroes. He's gonna start casting it towards the Lion, so got him with that. But yeah, I feel like generally, especially when you are still scoping out the lane, it's better to not commit the point at all, since it's probably just like not worth casting at level 1, and Spike Carapace can save you just in case something weird happens. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's getting some decent damage against Lion. Keeping the Lion out of that is going to keep the lane much safer, but Lion can just get level 3, get mana drain, and solve all his problems there. We have him gank in the mid lane. Ember Spirit up from the Rubik is going to grab him, bring him back into the Dragonite. There is no tail, however. They just have Breathe Fire and right click. They're not even going to commit the fire there, and they will just back off for right now. Rubik and Phoenix, not exactly super aggressive as far as rotating around is concerned, but Dragonite is definitely the hero that you want to be ganking his lane. First of all, to give the help, but also because he will at a certain point have Dragon Tail to help out.
Rather unfortunate they didn't get the DK stun. If they did, do you think that they could have killed Quan Quan there, or do you feel that he may have just lived on a sliver of HP? I don't think they would have been able to kill him, in all honesty, because September only has the Icarus dive. He doesn't have access to Fire Spirits or Sunray yet.
It's probably not a kill, but I mean, it makes your smoke at least a little bit worth it. You get some regen out of him at the least. And who knows, like, maybe you get in the front of him, because they did drag him down to the low ground. Dragonite right in front, or put Rubik right in front, or put both of them right in front and start body blocking. There are situations where I can see them getting the kill, but it will have to play out pretty perfectly there for LGD. But regardless, right now, the Ember Spirit's going to be just fine. Xiao 8, a little less so, because he's bugged up. Another right click from the Weaver, not quite going to do it. Looked like it should have geminated, but it didn't. So Xiao 8 is going to get all the way back to his base. Still not fun times for the Nick Assassin on this bottom lane. The bug versus bug matchup is almost just going to be straight up won by the Weaver. Magic Wand not going to do a ton for him right now, but just having the Basilius mana regeneration and the Shukuchi harassment is so hard for Nick Assassin to deal with. Maybe he's going to now get into a fight with the Ember Spirit. However, he's got to book it up against the Doom, who's going to level up in First Blade right in time. Catch FY with it, but lift up is there. Now aggressive to rotate around with the Stun Ray as well. On top of this, they'll grab him as First Blood. MY is going to be chopped down by the Ember Spirit soon. Will burn to his shield, but there's another Dragon Tail here. The Surge is going to be wasted because of that tail. They're going to try to get the Phoenix in trade, but so far, 2 for 2 is perfectly fine for LGD because they got First Blood. They might get a third one, and they will. Darkseid is going to try to go for maybe, but will get killed off by Aggressive, who somehow gets all 3 of the last hits. Phase Boots Lifestealer, no joke, especially when the enemies are not trying to run or not able to run. LGD lose their 2 supports, but they get 3 huge heroes in exchange, and DK survives, and Lifestealer gets all the last hits. That's pretty much ideal outcome there for LGD.
I could barely see anything happening because I've suddenly gotten a slideshow. So I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to hopefully fix it with a reconnect because this is unwatchable right now.
You tell me when you're a little better in that regard, but Xiao on the bottom lane in the meantime, Shukuchi one more time. Stick charges are there, but it's not going to save him this time. Ghost is going to ghost him down with the Shukuchi and kill him off. Assassin getting a little bit too far down the lane. I mean, contesting the pole whatnot, useful for the Knicks, but doing so with only 1 point in the Spike Carapace and no Observer Wards is risky. They're going to dive over the Ember Spirit. A couple more right clicks from the range on Dragon Knight. Not quite going to do it. Even the Darkseer going to arrive. With Surge though, so he didn't actually have anything to do to save his eye, not like it really mattered. He's gonna now Surge Ember Spirit in with the Iron Shell there, as well as the Doom. Maybe he's just gonna stand and fight. Dragon Tail onto the Ember Spirit with the Sunray over the top. Is it gonna be enough damage? It should be. The damage over time, actually not gonna be enough, and now maybe he's gotta run. We'll get Shockwave by the Doom who ate a Satyr. And it looks like the Ember Spirit's shield will hold just enough to save him versus that poison damage. September will back off. Sunray doing some serious work right now. This time not enough to save their DK. Needed just one more right click and it would have done it. But Lifestealer finds a haste rune. Gonna find another hasted target though in the Darkseer, so getting him killed difficult. You can try to go for the Doom, but Surge can be cast into either one of them. So Aggressive, gonna poke in, very quickly run out. Oh, no, he's sticking around. Xiao 8's losing his life in the meantime. He already uses Spike Carapace. Just touching him will kill him off. Actually, it won't. They'll still get the kill anyway, though, so it doesn't matter. Got killed. Icarus dive. Sunray Weaver is gonna roast. September arrives with the TP, gets the kill. Yet FTDC, they are still leading in the kill department. CS going pretty darn well for them as well. They're handling this offlane Nick Assassin very well.
So luckily I can actually see everything again. And this time, if we compare this series to the previous series that we casted, FTD are actually they're holding their own up against LGD. So I feel like coming into this first game of this best of 3 series, they are in a pretty good spot. Maybe take the game off of LGD.
Oh, but Doom.
Oh dear.
He's gonna get lifted up. Surge was already used, so they're gonna try to body block. Gonna slow down the Lifestealer just a little bit. The Lifestealer's fast. Gonna grab the cart and start working down the dark now. There's a Surge for either of these 2 targets, and Rubik's telekinesis cooldown long enough so that FTD will be able to back out of here. But I mean, FTD, yeah, they are holding their own. They're finding some wins at least. So even though they just got 2-0, even though the vast underdogs, at least they're not getting completely run over. At least not yet. They still have yet to address Aggressive on top lane. He is a very, very big problem with 3 kills. Phase Boots already up. Armlet should be coming up fairly quickly as well. And FTD, I mean, they have the Doom, which is, I guess, pretty good against that Lifestealer. Their disengage with the Surge is proving to be very problematic for the Lifestealer, but aside from actually killing him off in a man fight with, damage through Rage, not going to happen. Damage outside of Rage, the Lion has to be there at the perfect time, and hopefully for FTD, the Phoenix isn't there to try to bail the Lifestealer out, so it's still a problem that FTD are really not dealing with yet.
September's going to be an actual bigger problem, especially as the game progresses, because if you look at FTD lineup, Sable do they have that's going to reach the backlines and stun up December, because Lion's going to be in the middle of the fray. He doesn't want to run into LGD if Darkseer, if he commits a vacuum to cancel September's Sunray, then that's not going to be available for the fights if he commits a wall. Doom's never going to reach the backlines, period. Weaver, the only time I'm ever going to see Weaver able to reach September in the backlines is if he's actually picked up something like an MKB and gets a mini bash off onto September, but that's going to be a very long ways away, so you can't even rely on to Ghost. And Quan, he's going to be super lucky with the chains. Like, he's going to have RNGesus on his side 100% if he's going to get a chains off onto September. So this Phoenix is probably going to be a huge problem for FTD. The game just goes longer and longer because so many frontline heroes for LGD. Like, how is FTD going to even reach the backlines?
I mean, at a certain point, perhaps the Weaver can just get enough brute force damage so that Shikuchi into straight up right clicks will pressure the Phoenix's life enough so that Phoenix has an Icarus dive away or Supernova or do something except for Sunraying in order to survive that. By the way, love your pronunciation of Ember Spirit. Nowhere close.
What is
It's adorable as hell.
Oh, thank
Chen.
you.
Yeah.
What is it?
Chen.
Chen.
Chen. Yeah.
Ah, I've
Yeah,
always
learning
called it-
Chinese from people who don't speak Chinese. Here we go, boys. And we also have a smoke gank waiting in the wings. They want Dragon Knight. Fortunately for them, Dragon Knight wants out. So he's going to go rejoin his allies in the South River area, just waiting for this rune. He may return to this lane, but I think by that time the smoke is going to run its course. Probably someone's going to be spotted by the Observer Ward on the south end of this mid lane. So yeah, it looks like that smoke gank not really going to work out. Double Ion Shell, Scorched Earth, Infernal Blade. A lot of damage, but it is again slow damage, so maybe if Phoenix teleports in, they'll be able to help him. But for right now, the Observer Ward from LGD is going to spot out poor Darkseer. He's not going to see this one coming. Vendetta hit into Impale, and it's all gonna connect. No, it's not actually, because they'll need the Impale. They'll just kill him off with the Breathing Fire and Phase Ball, but now maybe the front lines. He is Ion Shelled actually. MMY stole that from earlier, turning a lot of damage to take clear to the Phase. Where's the Phoenix? Hell's gonna be there to stun out the Dragon Knight, and then we'll kill him off. MMY gonna try to teleport out, but Ghost is gonna shred him to bits. And in the meantime, Shao 8 is stuck in the trees. He's out of mana. He's literally in a corner with no way to get himself out. You gotta fight your way out, Shao 8. Good luck. That's not going to be a fair fight since it's 3 heroes versus 1, but Shao 8 will eventually be picked off by Ghost. LGD get rotated upon really, really hard. Does FTD reinforce their darts here? Yeah, they do lose him. But LGD, lacking the Phoenix in that situation is rather costly. They needed that sustain. They needed the disengage you get from the Supernova.
That was really, really big. So for FTD, they're going to get quite a bit of gold out of that. And actually, I hit DK stun. Nope, it was just on a creep. Okay then. But for FTD, that's a few turn events during the early game. Just even small rotations like that, having everyone 3 or 4 people TP in to reinforce an ally that is dying, like that's a lot of gold 12 minutes into the game. Like that could dictate whether they get their first item or 2 minutes early or 2 minutes late. So, in terms of net worth, like, going into what is going to be the game very shortly, 12 minutes in, Nakes and DK on the top, followed by the entire FT lineups. They've sort of shared their gold between themselves. Obviously, Weaver and Ember is going to have the lion's share. But they're not falling that far behind LGD, but Soak is here, and they found maybe, oh, rest in peace, Dragon Knight, you'll be remembered.
Double Ion Shell. Scorched Earth, Flame Guard, and so many similar effects there, and Dragon Knight just getting overwhelmed with magical damage. Shao 8 was looking for Ghost in the meantime, was unable to actually find him before Ghost is able to Shikuchi out of there. Hugging sentries will be cleared out by the Radiant side, so the nice little win there for the FTD side. And LGD still working with a lot of farm on aggressive, still has that armlet, still has yet to leave the top lane, however. The rest of LGD kind of their own island. And the off-lane Nyx Assassin, the least net worth on the map. I mean, Shao 8 has been brick-walled in this game, and that's due in no small part to the fact that there is a Weaver as opposition, and they keep on throwing sentries in this area. Telekinesis is actually going to reveal this sentry ward that was hiding in the trees, but I don't even know if they have sentries left to get rid of that, so Shao 8's going to try to walk around it. Will be very close to the AoE. Won't go just yet, and might actually be able to break his vendetta without actually showing himself. This is going to loop around with the Shikuchi, but MY Shikuchi as well. Phoenix is going to dive with the Lifestealer inside of him. Surprise! It's Lifestealer still in this game. They're going to catch the land. Now stun Weaver. However, there are no more stun, no more protection. They still lift and kill him off. LG barely in time. Shikuchi on Rubik is rather underrated. I mean, it is, I don't know, I think appropriately rated. It's insane on the Rubik, being able to do the damage, move around, but most of all, close in for the telekinesis is going to get LGD 2 kills and get aggressive back into this game.
I actually have to talk about Sakuchi on Rubik, because he can technically act as another form of transportation for Lifestealer. Now, poor Lucas down the bottom lane, going to be chased down by Xiao as well as that attempt. They get it, but this never gets deployed. This is Disengage, a Supernova. Lion's still sticking around trying to kill this egg. Gets on top, and I think that they actually got but no, here comes our M Spirit trying to take out Xiao, but they don't burst him down. They do spot for the sentry. That's going to be it. They come for revenge, but no, he has to turn around. He has access to take a revive. He may need to soon, but he actually has DK hiding around the corner. They were hoping that they would keep on going through, but sort of left it. They just let it go. Didn't want that.
Top lane in the meantime, aggressive, running with the Weaver. Armlet toggle is going to keep him alive versus Ghost. Now has to get out of in engagement up towards top lane, where Rubik and Lister were able to draw out his ultimate and also kill him off. It was kind of a panic doom from the Lister able to that, and with his armor damage and survivability get out of there at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, take down Xiao again, but worth in the game. Losing your next assassin for LGD is just fine, especially if in the meantime they're getting kill trades for the Lister, who by the way is now in Xiao. Is going to teleport over towards mid, not spot anyone, just needs 10 seconds for another vendetta. It looks like he will go towards bottom, although looking towards mid, there's nothing less to detect here. Of course, I don't know that. They're just going to run the darks here with the to land. Should be a kill, but they're going to mana burn him instead. It's so far wasted as offshoots his rage, trying to disengage from this time up. Supernova September is just going to have to fly away. They do hex up to the bugs coming in as well. He is going to need another rage to get out of this, I feel. He doesn't have any infest, although maybe is in the air for a Dragon Tail winning. Chased, and Lifestealer will back off. Lifestealer just refusing to go down, and that was a infest gank. Is going to fail there in LGD, so FTD are able to drive them away in that regard. So this game is very, very delicate for FTD. Their heroes are not quite entirely quite ready yet. We don't really have any huge items. Ember Spirit is gone for drums, which is fine, but you really want to look towards those extra damage items, because you need the damage to kill off the likes of Lifestealer and DK, especially when both of them have the armlet, so FTD are still in a very vulnerable position.
Well, the only reason they're really vulnerable is that they don't have anyone that's able to create space for the farming carry. Like, you're running an Ember Spirit and a Weaver. Both of these need at least a little bit of an extra farm, especially going up against a lot of these LGD heroes. Like LGD, they've got a lot of burst, they've got a lot of lockdown, and to survive that, you need either HP or you need someone on your team that can keep you safe. And we've got a mechanism on the Darkseer, but you can't rely on him to always be there to throw a mech if you actually get dumped on. But interestingly enough, they're actually fighting with both the Ember and the Weaver. I feel like FTD capitalize on this by taking pushes, but at least having someone in one of the side lanes just soaking up this EXP and at least getting closer towards the core item. But is there any reason as to why you'd want to be fighting with both of them? They set Ember up top and they're going to leave the Weaver mid, so this is more of what I've expected coming out from FTD. But oh god, this rotation coming through, smokes galore. Who's going to be caught out here?
Will grab the Darkseer and lift him into a spike. However, there's no follow-up to this, so Xiao 8 is actually out of mana and doomed, so he's fairly screwed. September has the Lifestealer inside of him, but saving the Phoenix Assassin is really not worth using any cooldowns for, so they're just going to fly over. Chains is still going to connect, and they'll jump over, but suddenly Supernova, and Ember Spirit is overcommitted. With the open wounds, he can't even jump away. He'll try to go for the egg, which will pop, killing off the Phoenix. Ghost is going to get lifted up afterwards, and they stun him up before he can time-lapse. Yes! And now they're actually looking at the Doom. Stomp is really good, though, landing on 2 heroes. And there's a spike there as well from the Lion. Finger of Death to pull up Dragonite. He's going to fall as well. Yet aggressive MMY. They're still checking forward for the X-Spirit mechanism. Going to keep him alive. And now aggressive Armlet toggling once again. Has to keep himself alive through that. MMY with Kuchi is going to end up leaving. But FTD, they commit the Weaver, but they get 3 heroes in exchange, including a big pickoff in the Dragonite LGD. I mean, that was pretty ambitious initiation, to say the least. Just a super long telekinesis, because the Rubik has an either lens way too far away to actually be helped out by the Lightstealer Phoenix combo. End up losing quite a few heroes, as FTD are actually starting to get into a position where they can start making some very similar but equally large plays.
Now, I didn't actually check this out. Now, September decided to use the Sunray to fly over the tree line rather than using the Icarus dive. Was the Icarus dive on cooldown? Because if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, he
that
used
wasn't...
dive to like get that spot in the first place, I think.
Ah, right.
So,
yeah. That's all I had to ask.
You gotta do what you gotta do to fly away. Phoenix, you'd think, would always be able to fly away, because, you know,
Hover
birds,
away.
But, you know, that's not how the world works. Flightless birds, sometimes. Over towards mid lane, we got a big smoke up here from FTD. Kind of laying Ghost out as bait. No one from LGD there to bite said bait. They're going to be looping around. Maybe is very close to his BKB, but is now going to get jumped one more time. And Wise here is going to Shiguchi himself, but that's not going to help Maybe. In fact, it won't help him either. They get back into a stomp from the Doom. Maybe we'll get a Breathe Fire out, but that will not save him. It's a nice 2-kill for FTD. And the Rubik, unfortunately, with Shikuchi not helping him. There are 2 sentries actually in the area, so true sight galore here for FTD. And they're just going to really put the screws now to the LGD squad. And if Armed Lightstealer is nice and everything, he's got SMY, he's got Armlet, he's ready to go, but until the Dragon Knight gets his BKB, I think forcing fights for LG, that's almost completely off the table.
But the thing is, like, what can they really do? It's more or less been FTD constantly looking for kills. It hasn't really been anything else outside of that. Would you feel like LGD may need to try and get as much map vision as possible? Try and figure out where these FTD heroes are and then just bunker down and fun farming on that BKB up on the EK? Because as it stands, like, look at all the vision on map. It's all FTD. There is no observer wards out there for LGD. I feel like they should be getting more wards out, but I guess, like, they're being dewarded by all these sentries being brought up by FTD. Like, there's sentries everywhere to figure out where this annoying this annoying Xiaowei as well as Sakuchi. Oh, Jesus, down towards the bottom, someone's just gonna get mauled. That was a Darkseer. Yeah, there's, like, so much vision on the side of FTD. They're able to find the kills just because of that. LGD are working blind outside of heroes moving around the map. Got one more down, I guess, but they need more than just one.
The wards are definitely getting more value here for FTD than they are for LGD. And finally, some more observer wards going to pop up for the LGD squad, but seeing as how FTD were packing serious amounts of true sentry wards, I wouldn't imagine these observer wards are going to stay alive for their full duration. They might, but you really do need that vision to keep themselves safe, at least until, as you said, the Dragon Knight is able to claim his BKB. He should have it, though, after clearing out the stack. A couple of golems, a couple of dragons, so, you know, little dragon on dragon hate crime here. It is still going to give Dragon Knight his ability to fight. I don't think there's any other big items coming up from the LGD squad, however. I'm pretty sure there's nothing on the Assassin. Yeah, there probably won't be for a very long time. The Phoenix does have a Midas, however, so he will be looking at level 2 Supernova rather soon. Still taking aggressive plays up against F, especially since the Doom has just recently completed up a Crimson Guard, is meaning that LGD, they need to get some serious initiation off, and that's to be on a pretty big target as well, like the Doom to get rid of the Crimson and Ultimate, or the Darkseer to get rid of the Mechanism. I feel like anything less than that, probably just not going to fly.
It would have to be the Darkseer first. I don't know, the Darkseer provides more in these team fights than the Doom really does. It's just been more or less the vacuum setup for the Doom or the Lion to throw out either a Stomp or an Earth Spike. If they can actually get rid of the Darkseer factor, then I feel like more control will go in the way of LGD, just because there's as much on the side of FTD. It's up to them at this point when they want to make that happen. Is they're going to go down towards this bottom when they have Xiaowei. They're spotting heroes out, but did he get out by this sentry? I believe he did, as everyone on the side of FTD, that bottom lane, just walk right on out of there. And I feel like FTD, they got to know this, or they're at least got a sense that there could be some sentry wards or some vision around heroes. Well, first, and
still detection range though. Look at these sentries. TD, they have eyes all over the map, and Nick's struggled because of it. He's gonna actually steal a couple of these creeps.
Oh,
and, whoa.
so.
Okay. I mean, you would think Weaver would be the one to get Desolator on FTD if anyone. It does apply the minus armor to everyone in the Sleight of Fist, so I mean that's kind of nice, but like they're actually gonna get the fact that they got an item right in this time period, right before LGD are actually gonna attack this tower, is huge. It really doesn't matter what item it is, so we'll talk about the Desolator in a little bit. For right now, though, Ember Spirit is gonna be doing a hell of a lot more damage. Yet Ghost, they'll try to lift him up. No, that was something else. That was spells to pop the Lincoln Sphere. Xiao 8 is invisible, but no longer in sentry range. They got rid of the sentry. They're still in observer range. However, maybe is going to pop his ultimate right now. MMY going to drop another sentry. Sees that it's an observer there. Xiao 8, they lift up the Doom rather, but they will lose the Rubik immediately afterwards. Maybe BKB has been used, which is great for him for fighting, but FTD are just going to walk away from that one. A 1-for-1 trade. They lose their Doom, so maybe they're just going to sack this tower, or maybe they're going to go in, seeing as though Dragonite has already used his defensive tool, and he will get in a lot of trouble right now. Maybe he is going to get dropped very low. Supernova is in the back, and the Dragonite will be the first one to fall. Supernova may go off here, but I think at this point too late for LGD. They have to back off. Aggressive TP going to get canceled by the Doom. His armlet's also on, so he's taking additional damage from that, and now the chase is on. Aggressive lived through this last time, although this time he chased down an even more far Weaver. I'm not sure if an escape is here in the cards for Aggressive. Armlet toggle, not going to be enough. The Weaver will grab the kill, ending the unstoppable spirit of their LGD. That fight, still trying to push in without BKB on the Dragonite, and they lose him without him doing anything, really.
And I think a lot of that had to attribute to the a lot of that came from that minus armor from the Ember Spirit. He went in for the Sleight of Fist, it connected onto the DK. He lost a lot of armor, even though he's sitting on quite a bit naturally. You have to consider FTD, a lot of their magic, a lot of their output after that initial fight was physical damage. They already expended the Finger of Death, having that first snipe. They've already expended everything, and just to re-engage like that, the Desolator is, I feel like it's a really good pickup in FTD because they've really indicated that they want to fight early, that they don't want to wait into a late game scenario, and this could pay off if they keep this ration up, because so far they still haven't been able to solve this Darkseer. LGD really need to either kill off Darkseer, because his setups has been absolute nightmare for LGD every single time. It's just been this vacuum into Earth Spike or vacuum into the Doom. Previously in that fight it was vacuum into Earth Spike, which it was enough to kill the DK.
I feel like as you said, Desolator is an acceptable item here, although better than Battle Fury into crit, like a more classic Ember Spirit build-up. I'm not convinced that it is necessarily going to be superior, but for right now, it's certainly adequate, to say the least. They're going to have their smoke broken by invisible Ember Spirit. Sentry does drop. I got a glimpse of him, but not anything useful to work off of. So smoke blown by the LGD squad. Going in for a smoke gank into a tower push is, of course, in a pretty textbook play. TDR gonna fill it out. Maybe this time has his BKB, so as long as he doesn't waste it like this time, they should be fine to take the tower, although he might just get Doom beforehand. He's BKB. Dragon Tail the Doom before the ultimate can come out, and now Pepper gonna put the Supernova right in the middle of the fight. Much better played for the LGD squad, but still disengaged from FTD. They're gonna kill off the Rubik and then back off. They will get hit with the Supernova. In the meantime, up towards top, Xiao 8 trying to fight up against the Ember Spirit's gonna fail that fight. Aggressive's gonna try to kill out Chen Chen afterwards. His damage, not quite high enough to buy blocks. No, he will finally sneak in a last right click. But it's only a 2-for-1 so far for LGD. They need a little bit better with this BKB being used in the Dragonite, but he really is unable to get close enough. Lacks the Blink Dagger Shadow Blade initiation for him. They're going to open up the wounds, though, of Doom, Rage from Aggressive. Oh, the Surge is there, though, and the Doom is going to be just fine. Slow, negated by that Surge. LGD are still trying to push in, desperately try to take a tower, and now the Dragonite has Blink Dagger flying out to him, but the damage has already been done. They take 2-for-1 trade. Yeah, they kill off the Ember Spirit, which is kind of nice, but they get the tower denied. But most importantly, perhaps, is the fact that Dragonite's BKBs have been underwhelming, to say the least. And if Dragonite starts losing his BKB time, then LGD's ability to fight is going to plummet.
Oh geez, this is really not looking too good for LGD, is it? It's just every single fight, it hasn't really gone in their favor. And would you say that a lot of FTD's success has been that they've managed to get more AoE control out of these fights compared to LGD, because they don't have a standard hero that is able to initiate properly. They don't have anything like a Beastmaster, they don't have anything like a Tide Hunter. They've got Nyx Assassin, which is fine, but this is a very underfarmed Nyx Assassin, and this is also a hero that doesn't have Blink. He doesn't have the same initiation capabilities as a standard offlaners that we normally see. I feel like maybe the Nyx pick is... It's not a terrible pick, but it just hasn't been able to really do the hero's designed to do, which is go for these small snipes.
Yeah, and that's in no small part because the FTD have been so good about keeping up their detection. Ghost is going to wander in. He has himself a gem shout 8 on the outset. He's going to be picked off first. He missed all of his spells. Now the backing back. Finger of Death being used on the bug, but maybe he's up on the high ground. He has his Blink Dagger, but he can't get down just yet. He's going to take a couple more right clicks. They're going to take the Doom. And the Leicester did end up getting the Aegis, but the Doom actually killed off Roche, so FTD already claim a big victory here as long as they can disengage. Maybe slip on the huddle, blink down to low ground, find the Ember Spirit with a couple more right clicks. Able to kill him off though. The Weaver's wrecking some havoc in the background, forcing the flyaway from the Phoenix, getting the Supernova out of him as well. 2 for 2 so far, FTD. They kill Roshan, and again, I think you could call that claiming a victory for them. This time they don't pull out the BKB of maybe. So for LGD, it's quite as bad, but they don't get the gold nor the experience from that Roche. Has Doom able to just walk right in, blink in fact, and grab the last hit there. Yet the end result for LGD is still they have the Aegis on the Lightstealer, no less. So maybe once they get another Dragon form, maybe then they could try to force some fights. If they sit back and wait too long up against the Weaver and Ember Spirit, they're gonna get to a point where they have to either smoke gank at one of them, or they will simply be unable to fight.
I think that's really all they can be looking for at this point. And you can already tell right off the bat, Shadow 8 as well as the Lightstealer, they're going to try and look for a kill. Unfortunately for them, the Ember Spirit's just going to completely back out. So this is going to be a non-target, although they could run into the Lion if he sticks around a little bit longer. But, you know, already see FTD, they're expecting these pickoffs from LGD all the time, especially when there's no detection on the map. There's nothing left for them. Vision has been key for FTD every single time. If they don't have vision, then they won't go for any of those sort of very aggressive maneuvers. The gem's up on Ghost, and he's going to try and scout out, and if he actually got spotted, they could have died, but no! That Lincoln Sphere proving to be too good for maybe as a... had to go for the initiation, but pesky Lincolns can't really do too much about that.
FTD will be able to defend this by slow means, just throwing out Ion Killer creeps, have the Desolator from the Ember Spirit, and Aggressive is the only one committed onto the front lines. Maybe now join the fray to apply that corrosive damage to the tower. Ghost, once he has his Lincoln Spear, he should be fine. Jump in from the Doom. Doom goes onto the Dragon Knight. He's not taking that much damage just yet. Now his dog drop low, and they also stop September right before the Phoenix can go Supernova. He's gonna get out, but with everyone being able to beat it down, they'll kill off the Dragon Knight and the Phoenix shortly after. Chen is actually going to get stolen by Rube, not bad, and will get killed off in the end. Denied by his friendly Darkseer, though, as Aggressive is still doing all the damage he can, but he's out of mana for another open wound. Can he kill off this Darkseer with pure brute force alone? No. He'll fall short there. He's going to jump into a creep, get some health, and now try to get onto Ghost. They're going to lift him up. Time lapse available, but they have the spike. They have the damage. They'll kill the bug. A 2-for-2 trade. As one hero was denied, but Aggressive is still, again, not really being handled well by FTD. They just have to absorb this Lightstealer to kind of take any sort of fight here. They're handling everyone else really well. I mean, stuns from FTD, especially this Lion, and the Doom, I think, still has War Stomp. He does. They've been pretty darn huge, but none of it has been affecting Aggressive. So once they get an answer for the Lightstealer, things get a lot more difficult for LGD. Up till then, they are going to take the tower. They are going to take a rather successful team fight.
So what would be an answer to this Lifestealer? They don't have anything that's able to PS BKB outside of the Doom. And just then they used the Doom to make sure that the DK wasn't able to get that BKB off. Do you feel like they're not showing enough respect to Aggressive now? Because they've done a really good job at keeping Maybe under control just every single time, trying to kill him off or at least waste a big charge. And they shut down Maybe, but do you feel like they're gonna have to focus their attention onto Aggressive now, or is DK still a huge threat just because he's got that dragon tail as well as the dragon form? Heck, even Breathe Fire is quite annoying for FTD, but relying a lot on ghosts as well as Chen's physical right clicks as we speak.
I mean, just throwing some tools against the Lightstealer, I think, is needed at this point. The Lion, I think, is going for a Force Staff with the Staff of Wizardry, so that's another big item they could just have and keep themselves safe up against Aggressive with. So, yeah, FTD will eventually get to a point where they will have tools to spare in order to deal with this Lightstealer, at least try to mitigate his impact in his fights, but again, it's gonna have to... I don't think dooming the Lightstealer first thing is necessarily what I want to do, since even if he's doomed, he still is doing just a truckload of damage, and there's no guarantee that you're gonna get that kill, or at least we have seen Lifestealer how survivable he can be, especially with being behind him. Just have, I don't know, Lion change his priority from chain stunning like the Dragon Knight into the Lifestealer. Something along those lines maybe is needed at this point, because this Lifestealer is very, very far. And in fact, 6,000 ahead of the Weaver and 7,000 ahead of the Darkseer and Ember Spirit. Aggressive's farm is pretty nuts out of control. LGD still have that going for them, but they will lose their Aegis Reclaim just by timing out. However, they do walk up towards top lane, get themselves a little bit more map presence. All their tier 2s are still up, LGD, so even though it feels like they've been on the back foot in all these team fights, technically they're still ahead in gold. But the Lifestealer's impact in these fights will eventually start to reflect that. If Aggressive is able to get initiation with Xiao 8, which hasn't happened in a very long time, they just need to start the fight with Infest, I think, and then LGD will be hard pressed to lose it.
At this point, they're moving so blind around the map. Lost the in that previous, which means that even if ward, it's gonna always be dewarded, assuming that Y is just gonna go walking around and do that vision when they consider high ground. If you're LGD, just wait for the next Aegis and then consider going up high ground, because they really don't have that much to lose. Keep moving around together. I don't really feel like it's gonna be an easy task for FTD to take them down.
They do have a smoke, and that's probably the best way. Oh, they actually have one in the Rubik, one in the Star as well. So smoking up and getting a pick off with the power that you have from pushing from with the Lifestealer and the Dragon Knight is means that if you get pick off and it's clean, you don't lose anyone, you don't really get all that much. It means that you can actually take Rax's out of nowhere. So for LGD, taking a patrol through the enemy side of the map, getting rid of observers and sentry and whatnot, that's going to be objective number 1. Objective number 2, get sitting back and just passively farming. I mean, they can probably do that, but I like being a little more assertive with it, especially since they do have the gem still on the Rubik. They're going to keep about moving there. The vision still, I mean, pretty much been the entire game. It looks like for LG to fall back, and they're actually going to grab a Blink Dagger on the at the points, saying, screw you guys, I'm going to initiate by myself. Being able to jump in and get right on top of the Darkseer, or whoever, maybe the Darkseer's away, or ready to use Surge, something like that, that's pretty game, but the Blink Dagger on the Lifestealer is necessarily going to help them up against some of these problems, including Force Staff. And the Darkseer, soon on the line, Ethereal on the Doom with his Ghoster. Lifestealer's impact, they just start to naturally decline, and this is what the hero experiences. Once the enemy starts getting ice, the hero just a lot worse.
It points out this Blink Dagger pick up on Aggressive. He picks it up on all his carries. So even though he may from a decline, this is how Aggressive is so used to playing. Once you reach 35 minutes, 40 minutes into the game, he always has a blink. And I feel like this is unique to him, and it's just a playstyle that he thrived in. Like, that's how Aggressive has really actually gotten his name. Not the actual word aggressive, but it's just he plays in a similar style to Kyo. If anyone
aggressive.
Oh, they found him.
With the sentry there, they're gonna doom him up, and he has no help. At least no help that's willing to help. They'll take down the Lifestealer with the Doom and the Finger of Death used. But this is actually a really bad timing, because Roshan is respawning immediately. That was a really quick respawn. FTD, if they go right now into the Roche Pit, I don't see LGD being able to contest that. Without a Lifestealer, that's pretty much their entire ability to fight. We'll see if FTD actually head in that direction, but yeah, with the Invis Rune, again, thought he was safe, but FTD's sentry coverage has been absolutely perfect. He's been placing these things anyway. Saw the Lion, so all credit to the Lion. He's keeping his allies safe from these Invis ganks, and also is getting the team quite a lot of gold. Up towards top lane, though, Xiao 8, not thinking about Vendetta, but again, he can't find an angle there, so he's just gonna teleport out. There is a Mjolnir on the Dragon Knight, though, so yeah, it's like my favorite item. It's perfectly fine in a Dragon Knight at this point. I mean, you're not gonna go for Assault Cuirass. More damage for him is nice, but I don't know. I feel like even with all this farm the Dragon Knight has, technically more than the Weaver, technically more than the Ember Spirit, I feel like the impact isn't quite high because of how they've been dealing with him.
This is so unfortunate for FTD. They did check the Roche Pit after grabbing such a huge kill, and LGD, they know the Roche is up, so they're all poised and ready to take it. This would have been so good if FTD. They didn't. Oh jeez. So another Aegis going into the way of LGD's hands. And with an Aegis on Lifestealer, can FTD actually kill it twice? especially with his team around him. I don't think FTD actually has the damage out to take out both cores, and especially one of them twice.
Probably not in the cards, not in the cards. They will probably be able to, if they initiate onto aggressive, draw some of his allies in and then kill his allies as they come in to help and kind of ignore the lifestealer at that point. It's not the cleanest way to go, but sometimes it's the only way to go. But right now we have actually September grabbing a couple of books, and that's going to actually be enough to get him level 16. So level 3 Supernova perks with Tomes of Knowledge, OS Frog. Plus he's got a Scythe device as well, so they have the flyby. This Sheepstick, LGD just got a huge power just with Aegis alone, but also Phoenix, with him that he's found at this point, will maybe make it a little bit more difficult for FTD to take these fights. At the very least, they're going to have something else to get through the Lincoln Spear, so maybe Telekinesis can land. But man, September is going to have some serious impact in this next fight, assuming he can get doomed or fly into a spike or something like that from the Lion.
Also, 40 minutes into the game, buyback status, there's only a Weaver buyback. So if high ground defense from FTD falters, they will lose a set of racks. None of the heroes are actually close to buyback either. So this could be a really bad turn of events if FTD get caught out pants down right now. They need to play ultra safe and they need to defend. Oh jeez.
Oh, they spotted. Aggressive is in the front right now, but again, he's the one with the Aegis. Kind of wants to be initiated upon at this point, because LG this time are all behind him. September a little bit far away, but behind him enough to actually give him a little bit of backup. Sentries, observers will be cleared out, so now FTD almost completely blind around the map. A little bit of vision near the Roche pit, completely useless vision at that. Now time for LGD to perhaps start slow sieging this high ground. Aggressive, again, wants to be initiated upon, is going to just blink in, lay in a tower. Nice sleight of fist, nothing. Aggressive is just going to back up slow and steady, man. Slow and steady. As long as they are ready to jump in, FTD initiates. They only are risking the life, so there's no around smoke play here from FTD. Nothing like that. So aggressive, he's the battering ram. He's going to rage up once again. No chain to worry about. Aim a static charge a couple times on enemies, forcing out a fortificate. I mean, it's slow. It's really tedious, but it works. And now, do they see Xiao 8? Pinged him. They don't have. They definitely see him. He's in sentry range. Now they're gonna death, but he's gonna live. Not big deal. September gonna fly by. Xiao 8's still alive. They're gonna lift up, go over. Is there follow up? Yes, there is. And now get closed in with the damage of the Dragon Tail. They'll take down the Weaver. He's the one with the buyback charm, so he's going to expend that immediately. Aggressive on the front line. He's not going to take the doom. Oh no, someone got doomed. I'm not sure who it was. The Dragon in the background. The aggressive though is pushing back the entirety of FTD. Just because he had Aegis, he's so confident in the fact that he won't die twice. And now the doom is worn off. Or maybe he's ready to reinitiate with the blink. And the Dragon Tail, they're going to let's go one more time with the impale. And then he can't kill off the Weaver twice. Then we should be able to know the time lapse again. Full HP. Now the wall's deployed it well, splitting the fight, but aggressive. He's still charging in. Supernova will go off, some Ember Spirit. He's gonna try to jump away, and he will get away from aggressive for a little while longer. GG, now aggressive. He's in the enemy base. That's not where you want to be. He's gonna get Force Staff a little bit closer to the allies. Say again from September. Gonna maybe an aggressive healthy. Ghost Scepter will keep the Doom healthy for now, but the Raxus don't have Ghost Scepter. They'll be in trouble. They spike up the Doom, and they will bring him down. Chanda's gonna re-arrive, but with the Sheep Stick, they'll just turn on him immediately. A couple more right clicks. He's gonna jump to the side and will survive as aggressive. It's just going to work and is really not dying yet. How is the Slicer not dead? I think it's mostly due part from the Phoenix's Sunray. Look at the heal. OS Frog in full effect right now. Lowland's Firebird. Aggressive gonna jump all the time. Darkster search, but he can't use it because he's hexed up. And aggressive should be able to take him down. And he does. The stomp comes in, stun shower. Pop the Aegis as well. Hit on the Phoenix Assassin. Let's jump in from maybe. He's gonna join his Slicer as they turn from the dead and kill off a couple more. Weaver is down for good. The Darkseer is going to buy out. Maybe he's going to pop his BKB and just start dueling the Ember Spirit with the Mjolnir. You can't really test that as an Ember Spirit, and maybe he's in a little bit of trouble. He'll get fingered in the face and he will go down. But LGD, they take a massacre of a team fight, forcing out buyback after buyback. FTD, they spend actually 3 buybacks, lose the Aegis, lose 3 heroes in total, get away with Raxes. That was LGD fighting so well around the FTD squad. Is particularly aggressive, living up to his name, shoving everyone from FTD back just by himself.
Jeez, what a fight. If you're LGD though, you just take Rex. Lost quite a few heroes. Would you say you're happy about this, even though they lost quite a few heroes, or would you say that it would have gone more cleanly if they didn't try and push the issue in the base? Because I feel like they may have misstayed their welcome to a certain degree.
Yeah, at a certain point, they just went a little bit too far in. Like, going for that Dark Seer kill at the very last stage of it, that was probably a little bit excessive, and maybe if they were a little bit more restrained, they could have fallen back and gotten away with fewer casualties there. But, even with that being said, the overall result for LGD is a resounding win, so, I am pretty sure they're not going to be too upset about that result. Lifestealer is almost completely 6-slotted at this point. Just moon shards, travels, some pretty, pretty standard 6-7 slot stuff from aggressive should be coming up soon. But LGD, the biggest reason perhaps why they won that fight was because of the confidence that aggressive got from having that Aegis. Not having that for another fight may mean that LGD approach that a little differently, and maybe FTD mount a more significant defense right now. But for LGD, if they get a pick off, that might just all be for naught. They're going to jump into the Lion, open wounds, not in time before the Force Staff comes out. If they do get the open wounds or the Abyssal, they'll be able to stun them up and chase them even after that Force Staff. But LGD will fall back, so once again, a failure. They just probably at this point wait for Roshan.
I don't see why not. And it's going to be a Roshan with cheese as well. So you're going to have sources of healing, one in the form of reincarnation and one in a very, very strong, I don't even want to call it a sal, it's just a really good heal. But so they may have spotted out Darkseer. Can they actually do anything to him though? It's Giant. He's not really the best source of initiation, as he doesn't have a link. He's got more stuff, but...
Found the jump in on the Darkseer, but a nice spike from the Lion. Actually ended up stunning himself. Now Supernova's right in the middle, fighting aggressiveness as well. He'll take down the Lion and drop Doom super low. Supernova still thinking will actually end up stunning the Weaver on the side. He'll be brought down. 4 kills for FGD. Looking for the final one. They're going to jump in with aggressive. No Abyssal available. Never first hit bash. Never lucky, but it doesn't matter. As FTD, they just get collapsed upon way too hard. The burst damage from aggressive doing so much work, and that's going to be LGD to win the game, even 3 kills behind. Jeez, the aggressive Lifestealer play, and he has all the farm in the world, so, I mean, there is that said, he just did some serious work in the game.
Aggressive, I was talking about this before. If you want to compare aggressive to any player, he's similar to Hugo. Like, both players in general are just hyper aggressive, and they are also high risk, high reward types